So we're being live streamed.
Yeah, does that sound good, Linda? I saw the little prompt.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are good to go.
Well, welcome everybody virtually to the February 23rd, 2003 Downtown Advisory Board meeting. Bummer about the snow, but also I made a sweet snowman, so I guess it all kind of pans out. So glad that you can make it virtually. And let's get rolling. First off, we're going to take roll. Josh K, not here as we know. Kirk Sund.
Here.
Good. Alan Pollock.
Here.
Charles Weathers. Yes. Quandre Robertson.
Here.
That's the one there. Chrissy Birch. Does not look like it. Rory McManus.
Here.
Yeah. Ryan Fechtel.
Here.
And Sarah No is a no. She told me she would not make it. So I believe that's the quorum. We have plenty of people. All right. First off, approval of the agenda. I'm staring at it over here. I assume you guys are doing it as well. Questions,
So,
comments?
Charles, can
Okay.
I ask you to consider making an amendment to the agenda to ask the board if they want a pass on the March meeting because of all of the time that they've put in to the multiple monthly meetings for the budget. Anyway, not that it's up to you guys to decide if that's what you want to do, but I wanted to give you that opportunity.
Yes, definitely. Great point. I confused agenda with minutes and just thought that's the old thing and this is the new thing.
And
So
this,
yeah,
just for clarification, this is the March 9th meeting you're talking about, Cherie, correct?
No. It would be our regular
Oh,
meeting at the fourth week, the fourth Thursday in March, because if we, I have full confidence that we will get the parking fund budget recommended and approved today, and we would not need the March 9th meeting. That was a placeholder if we needed more time.
got it. Also, let's back up. Chrissy is now in attendance. So hello, hi. I see you there. Let the record reflect. Okay.
Sorry.
Yes. So to Cherie's point and my going too fast and not understanding what bullet points mean. Yeah. Would anyone like to discuss taking off the regularly scheduled March semi-spring break calendar meeting so that we get a breather from these back-to-backers?
So technically what you're doing is asking to add an action item to the agenda today to vote on if you want to cancel the regularly fourth Thursday meeting in March.
Would anyone like to add or have an opposition to me adding, or somehow let's add an action item to discuss changing the calendar for next month?
So I would move approval of the agenda with the addition of action item 5B that would cancel March's meeting.
And I would second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. Motion passes.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you for walking me through it. And sounds like Alan's done this before. So okay, great. So now we've approved the agenda and added something. On to the next thing is approval of minutes from last time on February 9th, 2003. People reviewed, minutes look good. Can I have a motion?
I will place a motion. Now, what do? I request a motion for approval of last week's minutes, last meeting's minutes.
I like it.
Second.
Alan seconds. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. Sounds like that also carries and the minutes are approved. Next up is public comment. I don't imagine I can see anybody over there in the boardroom, but has anyone signed up for public comment?
No one's here in the boardroom.
All right. I don't see anybody online, but I don't know how the internet works. I'm guessing we're good. Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right. Moving along, action item A. Should DAB recommend to the city council the approval of DAB's fiscal year 23-24 downtown parking fund budget? Discuss amongst yourselves. We have it there. Let's take a peek.
Did we want to add an action item to discuss how the internet works?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right, good. You know what? If anyone actually knows, you can tell me, but we're all just, let's be honest.
So Charles, with respect to the parking fund budget, at the last meeting, Michael or the budget manager was not given revisions to that fund budget to bring back something different today for your consideration. I was asked by Kirk to give information, more detailed information on the daily permit. It's currently $3 for a daily permit. And I just raised as a point of discussion, consideration of it being increased to $5 based on the increase that we have seen for the use of that permit. So I did include memo answering those questions about the change of the permits from year to year and the difference in revenue. It's not significant, but it is something that you can consider if in fact you wanted to have it go to $5, then that would require and it would require Michael then to revise the permit fee line item in the budget. And if you went to recommend it, you would have to, because again, I think with just that one line item, you could, in your recommendation for approval, recommend approving the parking fund budget with that change to that line item so it moves forward.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, for summing it up. Looking at that memo, one thing that jumped out to me was that it mentions, as you said, though a small amount, if increased, it would create, extra money. Obviously, that's the point. I just wanted to ask how much, what is the actual process like, not budget and voting, but of changing a 3 to a 5? Is that a large hassle that's going to take some time? I've never gotten a daily permit myself. I always pay on the meter or hide behind my building. So just didn't know what it looks like in real life to make this change, because it is, as you say, a small amount. I didn't know if it was going to be a large hassle. That was my only question.
No, it's my understanding, and again, Michael can correct me if I'm wrong, it would be reflected in a fee schedule that is part of what gets approved through council. And as far as the PAC Center, it would just be a matter of the permit that they have. I don't think it has the $3 on that permit. So it'd just be a matter of the permit that they issue right now, $. It's the same, it's just the cost of it, it's $5.
Good. Yeah, I didn't want there to be a bunch of signs that have to be reprinted or something and have it.
No, we would update the website to reflect the new daily permit fee, and that's super easy.
Great, thank you. Anyone else have things? Yes, Alan.
I have a couple of questions. So first, a question on the parking. So it shows it's a $13,000 increase if you go to 5, assuming no loss of patronage. In the parking world, is there any kind of understanding that if you raise the rates, you temporarily lose people who buy passes for a period of time?
That's a deep dive.
I think we've talked, well, I know that we've talked a little bit about this over the budget meetings that we've had. So historically, the board hasn't just each year said, we're going to change all of the permits that we have for $2. And the consequence of that, it has been that eventually the board does want to increase it. And if it's like $5. So like Liberty, the current rate, monthly rate at Liberty is $78. It's the most expensive monthly permit that you. So if that would have been $72 and we raised it to 78, that causes problems for permit holders in that they weren't expecting that as an increase to their budget. So talked about this over the years, and they've looked at the demand for the particular permit in a garage, which is why Marion, because it's underutilized, it wouldn't make sense to do an increase in that particular parking garage at this time. Same with Chemeketa. Again, where the demand has been, it has been the dailies, because we've seen a change in the use of the parking garages because people are working remotely, or people aren't working, enough hours. Well, and I guess you weren't here, Ryan and I were talking about the change just in the hours at the mall and the staffing challenge mall's having. And so a lot of employees are not even working enough hours for a part-time permit. The daily is what's working best for them. And so that's where we've seen the demand. I also have been talking to the state because they want more options for juror parking. So there's a very high probability that they're going to start purchasing permits for when jurors are called in to be selected to go on a trial. And if that's the case, that would even be better for us, because I think they usually, ask 60 people to come in to go through the selection process. So for the other day, that would be 60 daily permits that would be purchased that hasn't been happening in the past, because they have parking on Marion on the roof that's available to jurors for free, but they don't want that as the exclusive location. They want other locations, and so we don't have it for jurors in the other parking. That's just real current conversation with them. So we've always looked and to kind of inform if we want to increase it or not. So if we change it to $5, Alan, I don't see any consequence in the sale of those. It's still so affordable as a parking option. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thanks.
Okay, you're welcome.
But I had a follow-up kind of question to that. Is the $5 based on anything, Sheree, or is it kind of a number that you just pulled as a good, nice round number? And kind of the question being is, if you had the $78 was your monthly cost, is that based on 20 days then? So dividing the $78 for a monthly divided by the 20 days that you need to use it on.
No, when
Is
we
there a good cost?
when we created the $3 daily permit, it was in response to restaurant businesses, the voice of restaurant businesses, saying that the part-time permit cost for the different parking garages was still too expensive, that they wanted, an option for employees that were making minimum wage because they couldn't afford the parking. Now, the board at that time had a lot of discussion around, well, who's responsible for that? Should the employer be responsible for paying for the parking for their employees versus it being on the back of the employees? Because we've always had very affordable options. You can park full-time down in Riverfront for $20 a month. And then it gets cheaper. It gets a little bit more expensive in Marion. Chemeketa is a little bit more expensive depending on if you want covered or uncovered. And then Liberty is the most expensive. So we've always tried to have a variety of parking options. And then we also have part-time. So if you're not working full-time, then you can buy a part-time permit. But they wanted to see if there was something we could create for a seasonal employee or somebody that was not going to be here the same number of hours that you would have to qualify for part-time. So we came up with $3. It just seemed like a very affordable option to address the need for one more tool for employees to be able to park in a parking garage instead of on street. There was no mathematical division. I have to say the $5 though, that is because if we went parking on street and it's at $1.50, you know, an hour, like it is around the Capitol Mall. So if you're there 10 hours, you know, it's $15. I was thinking that seems still affordable compared to on street for $5 for long-term parking all day. I don't know where else you could get it that cheap.
When was the $3 created, just out of context of how many years ago?
I think at least 4 years. I'm not at the office, so I can't easily get that for you, but at least 4 years we've had that option.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, well, not trying to rush, but there's always kind of weird, awkward dead air on Zoom. Any other questions, or should we move on this?
Well, I guess I have a question on the budget document itself. So in the year YEE, because that year ending estimate.
Yeah.
Down in landscape maintenance, I don't understand why that would be a negative number.
The grass bed, you didn't need any more.
I'm sorry?
No, bad joke.
Yeah, Alan, in fiscal year 22, there was a 1712 charge that shouldn't have been there. So we just took it out in fiscal year 23.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, gotcha.
I guess I'll just ask a follow-up question. Should that 1710 be 1712?
Ooh.
Right, the actual figure is 1712 because that's what it was, but we have to end in zeros for the current year. That's just the way the budgeting software works. So typically what you don't see in these documents is behind the scenes. I've got little lines that says solve for budget for like $1 off here or $2 added there just to make things in zero.
All right, good eyes, good questions. Anyone else?
Are we currently asking questions for the downtown parking fund budget right now?
Yeah, I believe that's what we're chatting about, yeah.
Well, if in that case, I know we spoke about the Parkade security service at the last meeting, and I remember seeing 2024 being like a $10,000 cost, and Josh being concerned about us taking away that security service. But now I see that it's been upped to 98, 640. So where did that additional funds come from, and where was the change?
We found some savings in the routine maintenance.
And
Great.
what line item are you talking about, Rory?
Parkade security services under contracted
Oh,
services.
thank you. It's now right in front of my face. Okay, I see it. Thank you.
So it seems like we accomplished a need there by allocating money into that particular.
Well, facilities, they are claiming they need less money than what they previously did. So we'll see.
And Sheree, maybe you can answer this question. Has there been any updates on police force presence increase into those parking structures? Or are we still at where we were last time?
It's my understanding that, and I shared with you guys the communication about the sidewalk perimeter closing that became effective through March 24th. An opportunity to reset and hopefully change the behaviors of the individuals that have been frequenting and causing increased damage to the parking structure, additional cost for the city for cleanup, fear of the public in using that particular parking structure based on the number and the locations of the homeless and unfortunately the human waste and anyway. So it's my understanding that there will be during this time period, an increased presence there of the police to help through this reset, to help bring down the consequences and to help move individuals away from that perimeter so that we don't go back to the way it was. And we need a certain amount of time in order to bring in the service agencies and to have the police presence to make that impact. That is my understanding of what's going to be happening. We also now have the, the 24 7-day-a-week security officer. And so hopefully the combination of having security now 24 hours, 7 days a week. We did have it. We have two kind of security services right now. We have 5 days at 12 hours and they start Wednesday through 7:30 on Monday morning. But now, in addition to that, we have the 24/7 security officer. So one for 24/7 and the other one for 5 days a week. So this is a really good question, Rory, because it's so new, this strategy that's being implemented. Have a lot to share right now, but we are going to be monitoring it and trying to get more information on if it's a good approach or not. I just don't have a lot right now because it's only been in play such a short time. But thank you. Question.
Thank you.
And Sheree, will you remind me that the 24/7, do they rotate to all of the structures or they be primarily at Marion?
They will be able to go, they will be responsible for all 3 of the parking garages in downtown. Again, they will be rotating, but we're going to be strategic with them because and their focus right now is going to be to help during the reset of Marion. But we've also had increases again at Liberty. So I know yesterday at Liberty, when I drove in, they were there at 5 morning, parked at Liberty right at the entrance. And when I went back in at around 6:15 to do a walkthrough, they had moved up to the second floor because we had just received information that another car had been damaged in Liberty. So they wanted to make a presence there, but they're going to be seen more regularly over Marion, but they will rotate.
Thank you.
And I'm exchanging voicemails with their operations manager, trying to connect because we're going to try and have our security team partner with them as closely as possible too. So hopefully I'll have some feedback for you.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you, Ryan. And you're talking to Parker?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Anything else? Then it sounds like, if I am understanding that Robert's guy is, we want a motion for this with some consideration for the parking permit thing. So Alan, you want to try for that since you're so good at it?
You're muted, Alan.
No,
Internets.
got to get that agenda item. All right. He speaks softly, but carries. a
Sorry,
very
I was
calm-
on mute there. All right, let me remember this. All right, I move approval of the fiscal year 24 downtown parking fund budget with the revised permit revenue reflecting the $5 fee instead of a $3 fee.
Second.
Kirk seconds. All those in favor, assuming it was said right, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No nays. Then I strike the gavel and that passes. Says there's no information reports, but life moves fast. Has anything changed since this was emailed?
So Charles, I hate to interrupt you, but you had your other action item to address.
Oh, right. Good point. See, I don't see it. I have short-term memory loss. I'm terrible. And it was that we should talk about if we would like to change the schedule for next month and forego that meeting due to all of these meetings and probably some rough scheduling due to the spring breaking, I assume. I don't know how, I don't have kids in school. I don't know how it goes.
So since I'm out the whole week in between those and do have spring break stuff all over the place, I will propose a motion to skip the March 23rd meeting.
I'll second. Cool.
All right. All those in favor of not meeting on March 23rd, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody that would really like to meet, please say nay. All right. Sounds like that also has passed. I mean, information.
So just for clarification, Sheree, we're not meeting on March 9th.
Correct.
either, correct? Okay.
Yeah, the action took regarding the parking fund budget will give Michael what he needs. And so we won't need another. We've already recommended a riverfront budget. Now we've recommended the parking fund budget. So he has what he needs to meet the deadlines that he has from the budget office. And again, thank you everybody for all of your time and good questions throughout this budget process. It's very appreciated by all of us.
All right. So then looking at the calendar, then we're not coming back until April 20th. Does that seem right?
Is that the fourth?
Oh.
Thursday?
No, it's the third. Sorry, there's not a. The
April
fourth is the
27th.
22nd. Yeah.
Thank you, Shelley.
Okay, great. Well, that's a fast one. Blame the snow. Any information reports or what's going on downtown or anything cool we want to keep talking about?
I just want to make sure everybody knows that all the buildings are down. The demolition is complete at the former UGM Saffron ABC building site. It's very exciting. And now we're putting together the next steps for a process to solicit the development community to help us have something new and exciting happen there. So I'll keep you posted on that. And then I guess the other thing, because Josh isn't here, and Charles, I think you were out of town on the 13th of February. As you may recall, Josh was going in front of council to read the paid parking memo that you guys all discussed. And so in Josh's place, because I did attend that night, he did a great job of going over the memo, answering questions, and the conclusion was the mayor indicating that he understood that the current system we have is not working. He wasn't sure of what the solution, but understands what we have isn't working and is going to be bringing forward a motion soon to let staff know what the next step should be. The president of Main Street was also there to sign up and support DAB's recommendation to council for paid parking. And I think everybody wants to make sure that there's a good element of communication and transparency if there's any change in the current model of parking to something else. So I don't know when he's going to take a motion. If I hear that, I will make sure and let you know. But I think that that was the other thing that I wanted to make sure that I shared with you in Josh's absence.
So, oh, sorry, go ahead, Charles.
No, feel free.
So is there anything in the meantime that should be our next step, or do we just wait?
Well, unfortunately, we don't know what our next step's going to be until we know what that motion's going to be.
Okay.
The best of all worlds would be that the motion is to direct staff to put together a plan to implement paid parking. That would be the win. And then that plan would include and we would probably engage a third-party consultant to help us with the communication strategy. But again, we would be moving forward with putting a paid parking system in place versus an option of we explore it, because exploring it could be very different in the approach, the length of time, and what the end game could be. So I don't know. So the motion will tell us how to take it to the next step. And I don't know when that's going to be. Sorry.
That's okay. No, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you mentioned that Josh answered questions and whatnot. Were there any that you didn't expect, or that kind of would give an insight into what maybe someone's opposing view would be?
It's always amazing to me when you're talking about one topic and all of a sudden somebody asking you if you're marketing the grant program. So, that was something that I don't think Josh was expecting. I certainly wasn't expecting that. I'm trying to think of the other one that Josh couldn't have answered. It was only Kristen that could answer it, and she answered it, which really had nothing to do with what he was speaking to. So you just never know. I just remember because I wanted to laugh when a grant question came up, because that was really not related to the topic. But Josh did a great job, because if he can't answer it, he doesn't try. He just, points at who he thinks would be the responsible party, and then puts that on them to answer it. So the weird ones, the one-offs, he didn't have the information to answer the question.
All right. I think Rory gave me the timeout sign. I don't know what that was. It's clapping. Oh, it's a clap. Okay, great. Sorry. Well, then that's good feedback. We'll wait for next somethings. And anybody have anything else? Otherwise, there's still time to go make more snowmen, I guess. No?
Our downtown snow looks all gone.
Oh, well, you shouldn't have traveled. It's unsafe. Go back.
Do you want to come to my house, Ryan? Because